Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. Let's talk boxing. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, profits are the difference between the public narrative and what's really going on. At 147 pounds, we've been seduced by a story that's gone nowhere, right? Errol Spence against Terence Crawford, they were talking about a fight. The conversations weren't serious enough. Understand, Crawford is unbeaten as I make this video, right? Crawford, of course, was undisputed at 140 pounds. So if anyone in boxing deserves 50% of the purse guaranteed, it's Terence Crawford. Now, I understand Errol Spence's people are taking care of Errol Spence, right? He's the person who they have a fiduciary responsibility to. But it's completely unbelievable, and it shows how few dollars are in boxing. It's completely unbelievable that Crawford would be offered unguaranteed money for a fight against Errol Spence, who was receiving a guarantee, right? I'm perplexed as an outsider, as a third party. I'm perplexed as to why an Errol Spence doesn't understand that this fight against this opponent has far greater legacy-making potential than any other fight that he could have, even against great young guys, right? Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. Understand, Crawford, Spence, same generation. This would be the fight that could catapult Errol Spence, if you believe he wins the fight, and I don't, into a greater stratosphere of stardom. But that's not how the people think in boxing, is it? Right? Everyone's focused on the now. No one is focused on the future. You have a heavyweight champion right now, Tyson Fury, who doesn't want to give Usyk, who is an analog to Terence Crawford, right? Undisputed at cruiser, still unbeaten, has a share of the heavyweight title. You have Tyson Fury's people not wanting to give Usyk 50%. Right? So folks, welcome to boxing. If there's a worse run sport, let me know about it. Let us know about it in the comment section of this video, because it's hard to imagine a sport where athletes and their backers take more ridiculous positions. Understand, I'm talking about the biggest names in boxing. Al Heyman is behind Errol Spence, right? I'm sure it's Al Heyman and his group that decided, hey, let's offer Crawford unguaranteed money, right? It's Frank Warren and Bob Arum who are behind Tyson Fury. And I'm sure they're the people who are thinking, hey, let's offer Usyk less than 50%. Right? What I want people to do is to look back at the geniuses behind Anthony Joshua, right? Eddie Hearn, etc. Right? They were the geniuses who decided not to offer an unbeaten Deontay Wilder 50%. Even if he crossed the Atlantic. Then you started hearing about multi-fight deals, and the stuff always gets shaded where they start adding other terms to the deal. So you in the public are supposed to be fooled into thinking that they offered Wilder a 50% guarantee for the fight. Right, folks? Sooner or later, someone's going to wake up. If Errol Spence ever wants to prove to us that he's at the next level, And understand, Errol Spence was not the undisputed champion of a lower weight class. Then he'll call up Terence Crawford and say, look, let's work this out where the money is equal across the board. The risk is equal across the board. I'm not asking you to rely on empty promises without guarantees. And let's give the fans something special. People here know I picked Tyson Fury years ago over Vladimir Klitschko, and Fury was the underdog fighting on the road. I consider Tyson Fury to be one of the best heavyweights in history. Right? But that's not going to stop me from criticizing him if this Usyk fight falls apart, just like I've been criticizing Anthony Joshua for years for not fighting Deontay Wilder. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a huge stain on Joshua's record, and I mean a huge stain on Joshua's record if he goes through this era without fighting Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. Right? Well, let's talk about the real story at 147. Bottom line is that boxing is a young man's sport. Right? All of us remember Muhammad Ali against Larry Holmes and thinking during that fight, wow, how could I have not realized that Larry Holmes was younger and fresher? Now, both Spence and Crawford are in their 30s. The reality is that they might no longer be the kings of the hill at 147. Right? Boots Ennis is willing to fight anybody at that weight class. Right? I'm just telling you, Virgil Ortiz has one of the best jabs in all of boxing. Not the weight class, but all of boxing. It is a Monzon, Sonny Liston level jab. Right? Ortiz doesn't have to hit you with anything else to bludgeon you. That jab is a power punch. Now, those are the guys lurking at 147. Of course, if Spence is playing this level of negotiation shenanigans with Terence Crawford, in your heart Spence is never going to fight Boots or Virgil Ortiz, at least not at 147. So, now Terence Crawford has to look to others. He has a mandatory, Alexis Rocha.